Hello, I'm Dr. Charlotte Middleton and welcome to part 2 of Eat Fat, Get Healthy. Now, I really hope that you had the opportunity to watch part 1 of this video last week. If you didn't, please watch it now. It's where I spoke about just how bad low-fat diets have been to our health over the last few decades and how including just a few essential healthy fats in your diet can actually be incredibly beneficial to your health. So I'm talking about the fats, coconut oil or coconuts themselves, olive oil, avocados, eggs, full fat dairy, and even the saturated fat from meat. Now today's video is going to be just a little bit shorter and sweeter, where I talk about the influence of fats on weight loss and where I debunk that myth that eating fat makes you fat. Now, when it comes to weight gain and overeating, you are actually far more likely to gain weight over time on a low-fat diet than a full-fat diet, and there are plenty of diets out there to prove it. Now, when it comes to weight gain and overeating, the fact is that you are far more likely to gain weight over time on a low-fat diet than a full-fat one. And the science behind this is that when food manufacturers remove all that lovely fat from food, the food is actually going to taste really bland and not at all tasty. So in order to bring back that taste, what the food manufacturers will do is that they will replace that fat with refined carbohydrates such as sugar or refined starches or grains. Now, the problem with that is actually what causes the long-term problems with weight gain. Because what happens is you ingest those carbohydrates, you get a spike in your sugar levels, and you get a concurrent spike in your insulin. Insulin is responsible for trying to bring your sugar levels down in the body. And what that will lead to overall is a weight gain, because insulin, by virtue of what it does, is a fat storage hormone. And I'm talking particularly that fat around your belly. That is what insulin is doing to you if you have too much of it. And too much insulin and too much sugar in your blood over time will also lead to things like metabolic syndrome and diabetes long term. And the problem with these foods, when you've had all that lovely fat taken out and all that other stuff put in, is that they are far more overprocessed and unhealthy for you than their full fat counterparts. Now, on top of that, the reason why full fat products work in terms of weight loss is that when you consume a diet that's got more full fats in it, and again, I'm talking about those healthy fats, then you are more likely to be more satisfied and to eat less overall during the day. What also happens is that fat in itself turns off your hunger signals and your appetite much more so than lower fat diets do. This is because fat actually turns on your fat burning switch by impacting a hormone known as ghrelin. And that has massive impacts on your appetite and telling you when to stop eating. And as I said, the research all backs this up. Study after study after study shows that low carbohydrate, high fat diets makes it easier for people to lose weight, lower blood levels of triglycerides, and raise levels of the heart protective cholesterol known as high density lipoprotein, otherwise known as HDL or the good cholesterol. Now, this has actually been backed up by a damning report just last month. It's by the National Obesity Forum and the Public Health Collaboration in the UK. They actually accuse major public health bodies of colluding with the food industry and have called for a major overhaul of current dietary guidelines. They say the focus on low-fat diets is failing to address Britain's obesity crisis, while snacking between meals is making people fat. Instead, they call for a return to whole foods such as meat, fish and dairy, as well as high-fat healthy foods including avocados, arguing eating fat does not make you fat, and also argue that saturated fat does not cause heart disease, while full-fat dairy, including milk, yogurt and cheese, can actually protect your heart. It's exactly what I've been saying all along. Now, the report also said that sugar should be avoided, and I'm actually going to be talking about that in my next video. People should stop counting calories, and the idea that exercise can help you outrun a bad diet was a myth. Instead, a diet low in refined carbohydrates, high in healthy fats was an effective and safe approach for preventing weight gain and aiding weight loss, and cuts the risk of heart disease, it said. Now, elsewhere, we are starting to see changes. In February 2015, the US Dietary Guidelines Advisory Committee finally changed its recommendations regarding fat and cholesterol intake for the first time in 35 years. It sent recommendations to the government saying that they did not recommend any upper limit on total fat or cholesterol intake. It additionally declared, and I love this, it additionally declared that it does not recommend low-fat foods or diets for obesity prevention. This is a huge step in the right direction. Really hoping that the Australian government are going to follow. There is hope closer to home. Results have just been released from a 2-year CSIRO study looking at the very favourable results in treating diabetes with a diet very low in carbohydrates and higher in protein and fats. And that was comparing it to the current best practice approach of managing type 2 diabetes with a high unrefined carbohydrate, low-fat diet. Associate Professor Grant Brickworth, who's the Principal Research Scientist at the CSIRO, said that the research results are groundbreaking. They actually found that the most amazing benefit of the low carbohydrate and higher fat diet was the reduction in patients' medication levels. It was actually more than double than the volunteers who were following the normal practice of a higher carbohydrate diet plan. In fact, in some cases, people ceased their medications altogether, and many described the study as life-changing. Professor Brickworth was quoted as saying, "This research shows that traditional dietary approaches for managing type 2 diabetes could be outdated. We really need to review the current dietary guidelines if we are serious about using the latest scientific evidence to reduce the impact of this disease." I couldn't have said it better myself. And to be honest, this is something that I see daily in my practice. So of course I advocate this diet to all my patients, but particularly those who are overweight or who have got metabolic syndrome, who have got insulin resistance, or who have got diabetes. And when we implement a consistent low carbohydrate, high fat diet, I see far better results in terms of gaining better health and losing weight. So I really hope that today's video and the one that I did last week has helped your understanding of just how unhealthy low-fat diets are, and that we need to change our thinking to embrace healthy whole foods and nutritious healthy fats. Please watch out for my next 2 videos. The next one that I'm doing is going to be on discussing sugar and refined carbohydrates in detail and the impact that these are having on our health, clearly not in a good way. And the last will be putting it all together. I'm going to give some tips and ideas on living a healthy lifestyle, including some food and meal ideas. If you've watched both these videos on eating fat, getting healthy, and you like what you see, please do share these. I am passionate about getting this message out there, and I can only do it with your help. Till next time, bye for now.